hello to everyone coming here right now and will be watching in the future. Welcome to the 12th episode of Sadhana. Today we have with us Tanim Hayat Khan from my beloved school, my Rajita, and he is a fiddle player based in Australia. He's trained in the Senia Mayer Gharana style. He's the son of Ustad Mubarak Hussain Khan and the disciple of Ustad Shehbaz Hussain Khan, and he has also taken classes by Dr. Adrian McNeil. He has been in Australia since 2003 and worked as a teacher at TAF Digital. He has been awarded the Scholar of Brahmanvarya and the Heritage Kamila. He has traveled across the globe in Australia and USA mainly with his brother. So Rajita, firstly, very welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Kaushiki. I call you Didi Bhai. It's really an honor to be part of this kind of conversations, actually, because performing is one thing and sending the message to all across the world is a different thing as well. So I think it's a great opportunity to promote my instrument, my music, and my gharana as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, so my first question will be that you began your musical training in your mid-teenage years, which was with tabla and guitar as well. So could you tell your initial days?
Tabla started 1989 from my memory, but it was just to put myself into the music, not myself, I shouldn't say. My parents wanted me to get engaged in the kind of a music because at that age I was not doing anything, just playing around, roaming around with the friends and other stuff. So they wanted me to get into some kind of a music. I learned tabla for 3 years, but tabla was not attracting me, to be honest. And I came out from tabla and did a bit of guitar and other stuff, and then came back to tabla again in 1996 or 97, I think. But then I had the opportunity to meet my Pishima, Srimati Annapurna Devi, who is the daughter of Ustad Alauddin Khan. So when I met her in Mumbai in 1998, she suggested me that our family mainly goes with the string instruments, which has got tune and music sur, basically sur. I have that letter. She wrote me that I want you to get into some kind of an instrument that has got sur. So that inspired me, and then I started learning Sorad in 1998. After I came back, I met her and then came back and started Sorad 1998. Initially, I was obviously 1998 means I was already 23 years old. So it's pretty late to start Sorad anyway, because in this classical music, people start at the age of 4 or 5 or something like that. So, but I started very late. I was not in the music at all, and then I self-realized something. I just get into I began to know more about my family. So it's quite interesting talk about these things because I didn't know at all that my family is such a big thing in the world and other stuff. So it wasn't practiced at our home. My parents are always focusing on study, and that's only one thing you do is study. And that was the only focus we had. All my brothers and sisters, we all had the same one focus, that is study. So slowly I realized I became more close to with my Guruji, Satara Prasan Khan, which happens to be my cousin, my first cousin, and my Jathato Dada. So I started to go with him in different concerts. I was carrying his instrument, and while I was carrying the instrument, Sorad, I felt with that bit of connection with the instrument. And then at some point, my Guruji, my Bhai, my Dada, he said that let's have a try. I know you play guitar, so let's have a try. So he gave me his own Sorad that he started at the age of 5, and that was represented by our grandfather. So it's a small Sorad for the kid. I was 23, not small at all, but he said, okay, start with this because literally you were small in terms of music. So you were basically 5 years old, even though 23 doesn't matter. But I took the sarod and he told me, okay, play. Then I started playing Saragama Pathanisa, and quite interestingly, I played Saragama Pathanisa all in tune. You know, sarod is a fretless instrument. It doesn't have any fret. It's a sliding instrument. So it's not easy to straight away to play on the notes straight onto those strings. So you can see that instrument, right? So it has got no frets at all. So playing all these things, you have to memorize where you have to put your fingertips. It just happened. So as soon as it happened, I was surprised, and he was surprised. He said, Rajit, do start with it. Let's do it. You played in tune, so let's start with it. That's how my journey started in 1998. Then there was a gap. Obviously, I decided to migrate from Bangladesh to Australia, so there was a big gap. And you know, when you're a new country, new adjustments and everything, I lost around about 5 to 10 years in the middle. So from 2008 or 9 something, I found Adrian McNeil, who happens to be a disciple of my uncle Ustad Ali Burkha's disciple Ashok Rai. So it's in the same family. So I learned something from him. But then I started to take some lessons from my cousin brother again to my Ustad, going back to Bangladesh whenever I go, learn something. But it's, I think I started to pick up sarod more when my Guruji first traveled in Sydney. Okay, so he traveled in Sydney.
I think the picture is freezing a bit. Your picture is freezing.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Yep. All good? Yeah. So I'll just put it on my mouth. So he came 2016 to Australia. I organized some concerts for him. And in those concerts, actually, I requested him before he came that if I can play all the concerts, he had 4 concerts. So I said, if I can play only on the second half with you, if you allow me. Then he said, with all the 4 concerts, you will sit right from the beginning with me, and will perform with me all the way for all the 4 concerts. I think that's the turning point. I got the courage of sitting next to such a maestro, and it was a challenge, obviously, to keep his prestige on the stage by performing at least at some minimum level. All right? So that's the exposure I got in 2016, and he said that I did this because then I lifted you a little bit up there from here to here. So now once you're there, you'll not go back there because that's your standard now. So that's the challenge he gave me all the time. Then he came in 2019 again. And those concerts were really, really fabulous because by that time, 3 years passed, I became more mature. And those concerts were really appraised by a lot of people. 3 concerts in Australia again. Then we traveled to USA together and performed another 2 more in USA. And all those concerts were very much appreciated. And I think that's why from the old ages, if you go back 100 years back, you'll see that all those gurus, they all started taking their disciples with them to perform. And that gives the exposure and the courage to play in front of the people on the audience. I think the gurus have a lot of contribution towards making a disciple. If they want, they can make someone good or presentable. So that's how it started in
Dada, you're breaking up a bit. Journey. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, but you're breaking up just a while back.
So what should I do?
I don't know.
Anything that
okay,
I can... Let's go.
Okay, now it's broken.
Most of the things, if you can hear, you can understand, that should be fine.
Okay, continue.
So that's the whole thing about sarod that started long ago, but recently it started to explore not long ago. So around about 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago, things started to get better. So that's how it started. So I'll just check one thing quickly if my phone is on charge, so that yes, it's all good. Yeah. So that's about me.
Okay, then next question. So, how did you find your way to Dr. Adrian McNally while
Say
you
again,
came
sorry.
to Australia? How did
What's
you
that?
find your way to Dr. Adrian McNeil when you came to Australia?
That's another very, very interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
I came to Australia in 2003 in June. I went to Melbourne in 2003, same year on December, to see my wife's friend. They actually came to Melbourne. We came to Sydney. So we traveled to Melbourne, and that was a Valentine's Day, 14th of February. We had a party, and in that party, they told us, okay, go and join with us as a couple. So we went there, and there
Mm-hmm.
was a couple dance in that Valentine's Day party. So, and we all danced whatever we could do, no matter how it was or how good or how bad. That's not so important. But the important thing, the judges. So I was observing there are a couple of elderly people who were the judges of this dance. So at the end of the thing, dance and this announcement, I approached him and I told him, "You look to me." Pretty much your face, your appearance looks to me that you love Hindustan classical music. I don't know if I'm wrong. I have the feeling. Then he said, you got it right. Hindustan classical music is everything on for me. That's my everything. I just did this jargon to the fun for my kids, but that's all about me. Then I asked him, okay, do you? Then he said, where do you live? I said, I don't live in Melbourne. I live in Sydney. Then he said, I give you a number, Adrian McNeil. You go and contact with him and tell my name, and then you start your journey. I came back from Melbourne to Sydney, and then I called Adrian, and luckily, in overseas, people live far, quite distance people. It have to drive only 40 minutes, 50 minutes drive. But when I called him, he lives next to my suburb, which is 5 minutes drive. So I was lucky. So then I was in touch with him. So this is how I found him, and we started learning. And I approached him that when I first met with him, he told me, play something for me. I played, and that is nowhere near to a kind of what actually means by playing. And he listened, he
Mm-hmm.
said that I can see that you know something and it's a gharana, but you don't have enough training. I said, okay, now here we go. Can you train me? Can you teach me? Then, okay, let's start it. So we officially started taking Guru Shishya Parampara, you know this word. The Guru Shishya Parampara, we started teaching. I started taking lessons for him, and he helped me to shape the basic things initially. But obviously, remember my badge. You know, the badge means the pattern. My pattern is from my Guruji because where I started originally from my brother. So I took the fundamental lessons from him about how to do the riyaj and everything. But slowly, I moved back to the pattern of my cousin brother, whom I was inspired by his playing. I went back there. So, but I would say that to restart my sorrows in Australia, Dr. Adrian McNeil has the biggest influence to get me into the track again. Yeah.
Okay, so do you still learn from him?
Sorry, say again. Check your
Do you
microphone close.
still
Yeah.
learn? Do you still
Uh,
learn
I
from him?
I have, but I don't learn from him anymore because he has moved back to Melbourne. So he doesn't live in
Mm-hmm.
Sydney anymore. He moved back to Melbourne. So yeah, I am in touch with him, but not in terms of learning anymore.
Uh, okay,
Not in terms
okay.
not in terms of learning. Yeah, but I am in touch with him.
Interesting. Okay. So you have a very, very demanding job which requires 90% of the day at least. So how do you manage riyadh and all together?
What are the things again?
How do you manage riyadh, performances, work, family, everything together?
Yeah, I sometimes ask myself the same question. It's really difficult, really challenging, especially there is a uh, serious problem from my side. On my side, I'm telling you why. Because I belong to a family. This is a problem, I'd say. because I can't simply play whatever I want to. People have got the expectation. So I have to perform something at the minimum standard, because if I don't do perform well, I get feedback from all the maestros. They come back to me in my inboxes and other stuff. They tell me, Rajiv, that wasn't really good. Your instrument wasn't not in tune. So I was, although I am nothing, but still I am something. So that's the problem. So it's difficult. Typically, I say yes. I have full-time work. I am a career in accounting. I'm an accountant and accounting teacher in Sydney. I have 2 kids. I'm married for last 20 years. So it's a long journey, but I should have been practiced, to be honest. Like, if I could practice, if 6 to 7 hours a day for 1 year, I could do a lot of stuff, to be honest. But that's where I need to contain myself, because I have families, I have kids, they are growing up, they need some time. So what I do is that no matter what happens, I try to read at least half an hour a day, which is basically nothing. Half an hour is not enough, obviously not enough, but at least that half an hour keeps me going to what I play now. Is contribution of that half an hour each day, but that half an hour is fixed. Every day half an hour, not once in a week. Half an hour every day in the morning, 6:30 to 7 o'clock or 7 to 7:30. So that's my fixed Riyadh practice time. That's what I'll continue all the time. And then trying to balance with my families and other stuff. And obviously I must have to say that without the family cooperation, my kids and my wife, it's really impossible. Living in Australia, you have to do everything by yourself. No one has to. If you move a chair, the chair has to move back by you anyway, because there's no one to do anything. So all this household stuff and everything, and with the help of those people, it's a bit of juggling, but I think I'm trying hard to manage the time. But I'm saying again, if I could have 6 to 7 hours a day for Riyadh for at least 1 year, I could probably bring a lot. But anyway, I have to adjust with what I have got.
Yeah, totally. So tell me about your days back in Bangladesh when you were performing. Any special memories of back then?
Yes, a lot of memories. I think the most important memory is I had is 2016. I traveled 2016 in Bangladesh, and my other cousin brother, who is the eldest in our family, Ustad Ashish Khan, who is the son of Ustad Ali Akbar Khan. He was traveling from USA. He's lived in San Francisco. He was traveling from USA to Bangladesh as well for performing. And at that time, my regular traveling fell on the same time frame. So it's quite obvious that we could see each other. So I went to see a concert of Ustad Ashish Khan, my Guruji Ustad Shahadat Hasan Khan, and my nephew Shiraj Ali Khan, who lives in Kolkata. Our family is part, okay? Our family is both in India and Bangladesh as well. A lot of our family members are in Kolkata as well. So that's why I visit Kolkata on a regular basis. So he traveled from Kolkata, Ashish came from America, and they performed a trio, and I watched it as the audience. I watched it, and on the way back, I was going by rickshaw with my wife to back home, and I was telling her, do you know what? I felt like that the way they played, I could be part of them as well. I can play something at least to that standard to keep their prestige, and I could perform with them. That's what I felt. My wife said that, yeah, I had the same feeling too. So I went back home. And then next day morning, Siraj called me and told me that Jetu, means Ashish Kasab, his Jetu, our Dada, the Jetu wants you to play tonight. I said, what? I said, yes, Jetu wants you to play with us tonight. So we three, Mr. Shahadat Hasan Khan, Mr. Ashish Khan, Shiraj Ali Khan, and you are the number 4. You will be playing with us. I was shaking, because playing with Ustad Ashish Khan is a big deal, because he performs with those extreme. Ustad Zakir Hasan, he performs with him. He's a big shot. And also he did like Beatles and everything back in, and he was also a Grammy Award nomination he got with for his music. So he's a big shot. And he worked with Satyajit Ray as an assistant music producer in the movie called, I forgot the name. There's a, I forgot the name of the movie. Uh, Totally forgot. But anyway, so he was very close to Satyajit Ray. So those people, but that person is asking me as a brother. I understand I'm his brother, but telling me to go and perform. I was very shaken. I was very nervous, but I pulled it. I went there and I managed to perform with them, with all these great maestros, and another two tabla artists came from Kolkata as well, and from Yusuf Ali Khan, Ustad Yusuf Ali Khan came from London. So all the big shots and me, Rajiv, Tanim Hayat Khan, who has no existence at all, performed sitting with them. And the biggest compliment was that as soon as we finished the whole program for an hour, and on the stage, Ashish Da was packing his instrument and turned. I was sitting behind him, playing behind him. There are two rows. The main starts in the front, and we are in the back. And he turned and told me, "I didn't know you can play that well." And that was my. I think like, oh my God, I don't know what I did, but I will carry this word forever. I know nothing. I have got a long way to go to learning in terms of learning and performing, but that's what he said. It's very much inspiring for me. I think that's the biggest achievement in my life in terms of performing in Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I see a comment here from Amrita927. So nice
Amrita
to
is
see
here.
both. Yeah, so nice to see both Tanim and Kaushiki. Keep going, guys.
Thanks, Amrita. Good to see you here. I will see you very soon.
Okay. Okay. So my next question will be, any special Sydney performance memories?
For what memory? Say again.
Any special Sydney performance memories while in your...
Sydney performance, yeah, I think I already mentioned with my Guruji's when he came here. I've got 4 concerts in 2016 and 3 concerts in 2019. We came 7 altogether in Sydney, all across Sydney, Canberra. We did a fair bit of performances. I think that's I never forget those things. And also, but I think the other achievement I've got is not in Sydney. It's in Gold Coast, in Brisbane. I was elected or selected, I should say. I was selected to perform to represent Bangladesh on stage on the 21st Commonwealth Games of Australia. It happened in Gold Coast. We had musicians all across subcontinent, so it's a big music show. I've got 2 musicians from India, South India, a violin and a percussion. Kanan, his name is Kanan. Then 3 from Pakistan, Kawali. 2 from Sri Lanka, they are Sri Lankan folk. 1 from France, 2 from USA, 2 from England, and 1 from Australia as well. So the music director was Sam Mills. Sam Mills is a very famous music director because he composed music. He composed music for folk song of Purnodash Baul, Purnodash Baul of West Bengal, and he composed 12 songs of Purnodash Baul. Being a British, composed all the folk songs of Bengali folk songs he did. So Sam Mills, our music director. So that was a great achievement because I was selected to represent Bangladesh on stage. It's a very proud moment for me that those musicians all across, whoever came, they're all professional musicians, and I am not. So when I went there, then they asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm an accountant." Like, what? You don't play music as a profession? I said, "No, music is not my profession. I just play. I have passion for it." Yes, it gets quite interesting. All of them are 100% professional musicians. So it was another challenge for me, which also took me to the next level. Sam Mills' wife is South Indian, British born, South Indian. She actually gave me a very important message that I was very nervous. Obviously, I never performed such a big platform with all the professional musicians all across the world. So she said to me, "Tanim, one thing I tell you what, think big. Think at that level, so you push hard towards achieving that, And you will get, even if you don't reach there, you will get to somewhere. But you have to start dreaming big that I will perform there, I will perform there. So that gave me a big exposure, a big experience in terms of Australian experience, I should say. So that's a good one.
Okay. So tell me about your work with the bands, the Wiseman Circus and Beyond the Border.
Beyond the Border was the turning point of my sorrow, I should say. Beyond the Border is a turning point because, everyone knows sitar because of Ravi Shankar globalized it. My Jathamashai, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahib, also took the sorrow to Western countries, but he didn't do much fusion. He was very strict about sticking with the classical and other stuff. So sorrow wasn't much globalized, but sitar everyone knows very well because of Ravi Shankar. If he says sitar, they say Ravi Shankar. But if he says sorrow, they say more like Amjad Ali Khan, but not Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, to be honest. So Amjad Ali Khan globalized it a lot, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan. But why I'm saying all these big names? Because sarod wasn't used as an accompanying instrument like sitar frequently. But Beyond the Border is the one where we started putting sarod as the main instrument of the song that will hold the song together. So I can play interlude, I can play prelude, I can play a lot of counters with all sorts of songs. It's a pop song, it's a pop, it's a folk, it's a modern Bengali song, sad song, everything I could incorporate sarod. That's the turning point. Then sarod became more familiar across the world, I should say. Because of this pandemic, I know there's a lot of people, we are suffering a lot, the whole world is shut down. But in terms of my sarod and Beyond the Border, it explored and flourished to a new era. And we actually presented that even though we are staying home, we can still work from home and perform together online. And we can compile together and do it across the world and keep people smiling and enjoying throughout that pandemic moment. But I found that sarod became more popular and more people became to know sarod through this Beyond the Border performances. And a lot of people started saying that I never knew what is sarod. I never listened sarod before. Or someone said that sarod is, I started to listen sarod from a new perspective. We didn't know much about it before. So I think Beyond the Border changed the perspective, helped me to change the perspective of sarod and putting across to the people all across the world.
Okay. And the Wiseman Circus?
That's another very interesting experience. I am grateful to our fellow tabla artist, Maharshi Raval. Is actually from Gujarat, lives in Australia. He learned directly from Pandit Kishan Maharaj's line, Banarasi Gharana. So he actually, the main Wiseman Circus's main, Ben Chakraborty. Then I know he's a Bengali, of course. Even though he's a Ben at the front, but when he says Ben Chakraborty, I knew he's a Bengali. So Ben contacted with me and said that Maharshi Bhai told about you. So we are planning of some string instrument. So can you bring sarod with us in a performance? The performance is there will be vocal. He has written 12 songs, all English. He's actually born in New Zealand and brought up in Australia, but he can speak like fluent Bengali, totally, 100%. And he's very much in touch. He's from Ranikuti. You know Ranikuti? He's from Ranikuti. So I went there, and the challenge was, that's also very interesting. The challenge was that the recording will be live. So everyone will have their own systems with us, your control panel. And we have guitar, we have violin, we had flute, we had organ, muted organ, and we had grand piano, and me, myself, Sarad, and Maharshi Bhai on tabla. So I haven't heard the song. I don't know what the song. So Ben started with a chord, in a groove, in a circle. So then he said that you will play with this. So it's a uncut version, means that he will edit later on, but we have to record live. The singer will sing live, everything. It's like a Coke studio. It's a total feel like Coke studio. We had the whole huge studio, and everyone we are ready and perform together. And we don't know who is playing what. So I started playing in the piece at some point. At some point I finished, then the organ started picking up from there and connected. Then the organ finished, the violin picked up, and then Maharshi Bhat Tabla, he played something in that. So it's quite interesting, it's quite challenging. You don't know what's coming up. So, but that also, all these experiences actually pushed me or helped me to take me to the next level. And those experiences, I'm grateful to those people who actually remembered or recalled me while these things happening. Like the Gold Coast concert, Bobby Singh, actually recommended my name as a sort of artist to perform in the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. So I'm grateful to those people that they recalled, they remembered me on time. And then Maharshi Bhai, I performed with him last in 2008. So we didn't have much contact, but as soon as the time came, he recalled me, he remembered me. So I'm grateful to those people, those nice and beautiful people, that they're calling me on that time. But at the same time, I also give a bit of credit to myself that obviously they found something in me that's why they could feel that Tanim can do these things for us. And I'm so happy that I could keep their name. They recommended me, so I could perform well and keep their names shining.
Interesting. So tell me about your compositions which you've done in your YouTube channel, Av Space PG, I guess.
Yeah, composition. I have done one sort of composition so far. I have done a fusion with Ejaz Farah did the music. But I was the main tuning and main sort of thing. It's a 7-minute composition. It's coming up very soon. I have done a music video of that one, and it's a compilation of Sarod and Kathak. You know, you are a dancer, so it will be very interesting for you to watch as well. We incorporated Kathak as well with the piece. But apart from Sarod composition, I have done few small bits and pieces fusion with Irish flute with Aruni from Bangladesh. These are all online. Basically, we have done, but 2 times I traveled, one is online. So these type of features I continue to do on a small 3 to 4 minutes basis, sort of. But apart from sort of composition, tuning song is my passion. So my uncles, all my uncles are really, really great music directors in both Bangladesh and in India as well. And my Jata my own Jata Ustad Bahadur Khan was music director in Taliganj as well. He did a lot of music directions in Taliganj, and he also did music directions in Mumbai films as well, Chaudhary Ke Chand, where my Jatha Bahadur Khan Sahib introduced Hemante Shukla to the Mumbai film industry. So that was in the blood. So slowly I started to realize that there are a lot of music, so I started tuning a lot of songs for different people. And quite interestingly, I sing as well. Though singing is my passion, but I'm mainly a Sarod artist, but I can't stop singing. I just love to sing because song came from my mother's side. My mother's side is very famous in Bangladesh. They're well established and top class singers in Bangladesh. And my Mashi is Sabina Yasmin, you know this name, of course. So my mom is the second one, and she is the youngest one. So that's how the singing came. But I just love to sing. Though, if you ask me what's your name, Sarod remains as my first thing, because that's why people know me, and that's why people distinguish me. A lot of people can sing, but not everyone can play Sarod.
Okay. So you are from the Senya Mahiyar Gharana, and when we take that name, people think of Baba Alauddin Khan Sahib itself. But Ustad Ayat Ali Khan Sahib, your grandfather had invented 3 instruments. I apologize if, just in case I have the wrong pronunciation, Chandrasarang, Mandrama, and Manohara. So could you tell us about these instruments?
Mandranath. That's the second one is Mandranath. N-A-D.
Mandranath.
Mandranath. Yeah. So all these instruments are basically pretty much in a combined version of 2 more instruments. Okay. Like Chandrasarang was combination of Esraj and Sarangi sort of thing. Mandranath was combination of Sarod and other instruments. So he invented few things together. One other thing I should say, no one knows about this instrument. That was not Ustad Ayat Ali Khan, not Ustad Alauddin Khan. Their elder brother, from where music started in our family. Fakir Aftabuddin Khan, who is our second grandfather. Okay, he started music first in our family after my great-grandfather. He took it to the next level. So he invented an instrument, very fantastic name. It's called Meg Dombur. But we've never heard this instrument. We never saw this instrument. It's just gone. But inventing instrument was very much their passion. My grandfather did something, but apart from my father, no one played those instruments. Those three instruments you mentioned the names, Chandrasar and Mandranath. My father is the only one played all those instruments because my father stayed with my grandfather, and when he was inventing an instrument, telling my father, okay, do and play this. But again, my father is the only one in the entire family who did not pick music as his career. He was the first one. So as soon as he moved on to his career, administration and government jobs and other stuff, all those chapters are gone. Those instruments are gone. We never saw those instruments, although my father played a lot. You said the other one. What was the other one you said? Chandrasar, Mandranath, and
Manohara. Manohara.
Manohara. So Manohara is kind of a double bass. Double bass means like cello sort of instrument. So my father played that one in the Bengali film industry. I think it's Mandranath from my memory. Yeah, Mandranath. Sorry, not that. Manohara. Mandranath. Mandranath is kind of a big version of cello. So my father played that one in the film industry a lot. But again, when my father stopped playing all these things, those instruments are all gone. So, but my grandfather and Ustad Alauddin Khan said they together changed the pattern of the sarod. The instrument sarod you see now, the modern style of sarod, it wasn't like that before. So you can see there are two types of sarod. One is our gharana and one is Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan gharana, Gwalior gharana. So they are a different one. But my Alauddin Khan Sahib and Hayat Ali Khan Sahib, these two brothers jointly together, Alauddin Khan Sahib designed, drew the new sarod pattern and told my grandfather to design and change the sarod to something new. And my grandfather designed this one. I have that letter with me. Alauddin Khan Sahib used to write a lot of letters to my grandfather. And in that letter, it's mentioned that I want you to do this and this. And that's a very big, I would say, evidence of history that where Alauddin Khan Sahib instructed his younger brother to do some research and modify the sarod. And then the sarod modified. And then our gharana started to do a total new pattern of sarod, so which is you can see at this moment now. But yes, those, I think with my grandfather's gone long ago, all those experiments and everything stopped since then. I don't think anyone does any experiment at this stage.
Okay, so are these instruments found anywhere now? Nothing.
Those are gone. Not even any photo available to anywhere. We don't have any pictures of those instruments. But I have one, which is basically Alauddin Khan Sahib drew on his own hand in a letter. I have that scanned letter with me, and that letter has got that picture of one of the instruments. But that hand sketch, not actual instrument. But those instruments are long gone. There's no chance of getting back.
So sad. Okay. So you had mentioned in one of your interviews, I remember, that you want to take forward your father's literary work. How has that been progressing?
Pramit says, Rajita, very nice to hear. Okay, thanks, Pramit. My father actually did everything. So he did some music at some point, then he did some literature work a lot. He wrote 137 books, published books. He has 137 published books. What my plan is that no one is, after my father is the only one who put our family history and every single big maestros of our family into the print media. And after he has done, there's no one to write anymore about our family and our brothers and our sisters, our cousins, our uncles, no one to dare. So I have decided that I can't be my father. I can't write professional like him, but slowly I will start writing something, my experiences with in a different perspective with individual families, individual members, like what my experiences with Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, my experience with Annapurna Pishima, my experience with Ustad Ashish Khan. I want to take those ones in writing, because if I write those ones, then my next generation will read those ones. Otherwise, they will be totally out of the whole thing. So after my father passed away, there's someone has to take the responsibility to keep. My sister writes a lot, but I think I have a lot of personal relations, personal experiences with a lot of people, and I can bring all these things together. Someone has to take that apart from performing only. So I will try my best to take that part. My father did translation, novels, and a lot of other stuff. But I will only pick up one tiny bit from my father and focus on our family.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So have you started working on anything for this?
I've got a few things written already. So obviously it's important to get a publisher. So working on that one to get a publisher. And obviously if this pandemic time is not a good time, so I'm waiting for everything to get over, then I will publish a few things. It's in a shankolon. It's called like it's a combined a lot of stories together, put it in one form. And probably the name will be Amar Kotha maybe.
Okay.
Yep, it's a serious plan. It's a serious plan. It will happen.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so Amrita927 once again writes, expecting to hear a lovely piece from you, Tanim.
Yes, we will have it. We will do it when we finish. When we're about to finish, we will play some music and finish it off. So maybe, I don't know if Kaushik has got more questions.
Yes, I do. Okay.
Sure.
So according to you, how has the globalization of Sarod stands in the world today?
That's the challenge, as I said, because I have started doing it just recently, and there are all the big shots and big people are there across the whole world. But I think someone has to step forward and introduce Sarod to everyone, all across the world. I don't take credit myself because it happened through Beyond the Border, basically. So I would appreciate the initiative who has taken from the Beyond the Border side, Mr. Rajiv Islam. So he is the pioneer of Beyond the Border. He believed in me, and he told me, yes, we will incorporate Sarod with all the drums and bass guitars and everything. We will incorporate that one. So that started to globalize a lot, I should say, a lot of people, Western people and other people. And we covered some English songs as well. And probably you never heard Sarod in an English song, but we did. We did 2 English songs, and Sarod was major instrument even in the English song as well. One is Rara Rasputin, and the other one is I forgot what I did otherwise. We've done so many songs, but Rara Rasputin is the latest one we did in the new year. So even though Sarod was there, we did the Summer Wine. We did Summer Wine as well. So it just started. It's a long journey. It started. Ustad Ashish Khan, our big brother, he has done it long ago in 1960s when he performed with Beatles and other stuff. So Sarod started to become globalized at that point. I think he is the pioneer of doing these things to the Western people and doing sessions and other stuff. I'm just trying to follow the footsteps of those big people. But it will be more as we go. This is my belief. Because we have now the options of going online. Before we had to wait to travel to Europe and America to perform and Sarod and put them in front of them. But now because of there's a new site open to the pandemic where we can sitting at home, perform and still put the music across the world. And that's probably given me the biggest option of marketing Sarod across the world.
Okay, interesting. So 2 questions came in which were very common, that do you teach regularly in Australia and would you like to take online students as well?
I used to teach. I had a couple of students who came. One is Australian, one is Bangladeshi. He used to come. I struggle with my own time, but if I get someone passion, someone who wants to learn it from some. I'd love to see the passion, and it's a long-term relationship, long-term learning. someone comes and plays for 2 months and then goes out. No. If you come to play, stay with me for 5 years, 10 years, something like that. So if someone has the commitment, I'm happy to teach every Sunday morning. I used to teach one. He used to come. He had the passion, but at that moment, I was struggling myself to find time because I was new to Australia. I was settling down as well. But now I'm more settled now. I have a bit of more time available on Saturday, Sunday morning. So I'm happy to do this teaching. Online is a little hard, depending because the time difference. If it's in Australia, yes. If it's from India and Bangladesh, the time difference is an issue. We have got a 4 hours time difference. My timing, obviously, as I said, that up to the family and other stuff. But I am not saying no, because you know what? When you teach, you remain in practice. It's important to teach people for your own benefit as well. So I would love to teach, but with a long-term perspective, long-term relationship.
Interesting. And another question which was very, very popular, that at your age, several artists have taken up the title of Pandit, Ustad, Vidush, and all. Why haven't you?
I am not a Pandit, I'm not an Ustad, and I won't be. It's a big, long, difficult task to go to achieve. But the other thing is that this Pandit and Ustad, this is a serious topic now. Someone may get offended, but I don't mind. I am not afraid of saying the truth. Ustad and Pandit used to be a government-initiated title of India at some point. So the government had a formal program to give the title. You are Ustad. You become Ustad Alauddin Khan. You become Ustad Ali Akbar Khan. You become Pandit Ravi Shankar. That's official. But nowadays, that practice is gone. I can see a lot of people started putting Pandit and Ustad in front of their name. I don't like this, to be honest. Okay? Let people tell about it. And if you start doing your own title as Ustad, then it's not fair. You don't call yourself a Ustad. You can't call yourself a Pundit. For me, I have good friends. They love me a lot. They call me Ustadji, Ft.Tanim, Hayat Khan. Wherever they say it, I immediately say that, please don't call me, because I am not that caliber. I know I am not in that stage. So be honest with yourself, be clean with yourself. If at some point you achieve something, you know you have achieved something, it will come to you. But again, it's not necessarily that you have to have it. Music is for passion, not for those titles. You love music, you perform music, and you purify yourself. You enjoy the stuff. That's what is important for me, my perspective. Those Pundit, those Ustad, I think, yes, obviously, but again, I don't see why people are putting their names and putting those ones. So I will never take it, because I know myself very well. I have to learn a lot. Next 20 years, 30 years, I will learn a lot of new ragas I will learn, a lot of new patterns I will learn. I'm still learning. So let that learning part over, and which will never be over, to be honest. So I'm happy with Tanim Hayat Khan.
Totally. And I also feel that if you put the title of Ustad or Pandit, that means you've learned everything.
My Mashima just
I can see that.
Mashima wants to hear Kirwani. Mashima wants to hear Kirwani.
Yeah.
If Mashima says something is very difficult to disobey, I had a different plan, but after seeing this, I will think about it.
Okay. Yeah. So I was telling that when you take the title of Ustad or Pandit, I feel that you attend the expertise level and you have nothing else to learn.
Yes, that's what exactly. At some point, yes. But obviously, I'm not at that stage. And as I said, that if I could practice 6-7 hours a day for one year, I could be a totally different person. But obviously, that's not the reality. My reality is different. So it will take maybe 30-40 years more.
30, 40 years. Okay.
If
Okay,
I
guys.
leave, if I leave, if
Oh
I
my
leave.
God, don't tell like that. Okay. Okay. So the words come to an end here. Now, Rajita, I request for the demonstrations.
For the music,
Yeah.
is that the last thing we are doing? We are not. Yeah, that's it. We are not talking anymore. Okay.
No.
All right. So I initially my plan was to play Mr. Coffee tonight,
Mm-hmm.
but as Mashima said, Kirwani. I'm just changing that from Mr. Coffee to Kirwani. But to do that one, I just have to retune my instrument because I tuned it for Mr. Coffee. Give me 2 minutes. I will just retune for 2 minutes. Mashima, for you, I am doing the Kirwani. Uh, can you hear the Tanpura? Can you hear the Tanpura?
I can.
Tanpura is coming. Okay, fine. Just sitting behind a little bit. Sitting behind a little bit. Probably they can see me a little bit more.
Okay. absolutely amazing.
জানি না সাউন্ড কতটুকু গেছে। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ মাসিমা, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ।
Absolutely. I see a lot of comments. Kya baat, Subhanallah. Your music gives so much peace.
ও মাই গড, আমি জাস্ট মাসিমাটা দেখেছি, দ্যাটস এনাফ। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। মাসিমা নিজে খরচ বাজান, সুতরাং ওনার অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েশন পাওয়াটা একটা অনেক বড় ব্যাপার। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ।
না এত ইম্প্যাক্ট ভার্চুয়ালি হচ্ছে, ফেস টু ফেস হলে it would have been like massive.
হ্যাঁ সেটাই 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 সে যাই হোক, এখন at least we are doing something.
Totally. Totally. Okay then, tahale here it comes to the end. Thank you so much, Rajit Dada, for doing this. Before ending this, would you like to add some words?
Thanks goes to you. Obviously, you are doing a great job bringing all these people together from across the world. I really appreciate that. And thanks for finding me. And when I got the message from you, I was stuff like that. Wow. Then we got another link, another connection. But quite interestingly, it's good to that you loved my music and then you came forward and then we found other connections and other stuff. But the small words. But yep, your episodes are really, really good. Once you send me the email, I'll search through all those things and watch few of your episodes and everything. So it's really amazing. It's great to be part of this journey. It's episode number 12, so hopefully it continues, grows and grows to 100, 200 and everything. And I'd love to come back.
Thank you so much. And we would like to have you back as well very soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everything. Thanks, Toshi. Thank you very much.